Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Final Builder course. In the last session, we got a first look at the interface, and today we're diving into the core of what makes Final Builder so powerful, the building blocks themselves. We'll learn how to create your first project using the elements and start creating actions to automate some of those tedious tasks that you've been doing manually. Get ready to boost your productivity and become a Final Builder pro. So let's get started. What you see here, as you've learned in your previous sessions, is we are inside of Hub. We have our builder here, and we're going to start by clicking Create Custom Build. Let's name our build. Let's start by calling it Builder Basics. What you see here is we have versioning of the different builds. It's always going to be starting at version 1, but that will increase as we save and publish builds. Then we can choose some common sizes here that we're building from the beginning. But if you have a specific device you're building for, you can use the custom canvas sizing over here. Today we're just going to build for a full HD desktop, which is one of the common sizes. So let's just click Create and get started. Now we're into the main builder interface here, and as you can see, we're left with a few options here. We can start with a full blank canvas if we know exactly what we want and we don't want to have any quick layouts done up for us. We could click Start from Scratch. We also have a bunch of really nice templates made out for you, so you can get started really quickly. But as we're going through the builder, I think the best way for us today is to go in and look at some of our specific layouts that we're having here. So you can see we've already predefined what we believe is some really good standard layouts for various POS solutions. It depends a little bit on if you're using kiosk or mobile or whatever. You're able to choose what fits you. So let's just try and click add one of them, and then you see that we have it divided up already for us in the way that we expected. If we open the structure pane here, we have our base layer. That's basically our canvas. And then we have the two containers. If you're not familiar with div containers, we are going to go through that a lot deeper in the specific elements tutorials. But most of you that have been building websites before would be very comfortable with using div containers. For this scenario, we're not going to dive too deep into that. Let's try and just delete the different divs that we have, and then you'll see we'll be taken right back into to selecting a layout. For today, let's just try and have a look at a couple of different ones. You see here, we're now left with dividing up maybe a menu with a logo and whatnot, some quick actions, maybe a card view and a grid view, or however you would like to structure it. One of the beauties of the builder here is the ability to create it exactly the way you want. But as we took this a little more advanced canvas, you'll start to see how it's divided up into one big div container, and then with two divs structured with the right spacing in between. These are all set in percentages, so they're able to grow and work with the layout depending on however you choose. So if we were to take a little bit of a smaller layout, you see it will still work just fine. Let's go back here to where we started, and I'm just going to clear these again. And let's jump in and look at how a canvas might look as we start adding elements to it. So let's start by adding our first elements. As you see over here, we have our elements bar. There's a lot of predefined elements, and then there are our design elements that really enables you to design almost any POS solution you have ever seen out there with these few simple elements. We'll be adding some quicker elements to go deeper in and get specific tab structures and stuff like that in place as we grow. But today, let's just start by adding in a text element. So you see our text element here. I'm just going to go and put it in the center of the screen so it's nice and easy to see. And now you see that the text element is starting to build up inside of the structure pane here. We could be dragging that up into here, or we could be dragging it back into where we have it. So it is a drag and drop interface, and you can also drag over here in the different layers here. So let's talk a little bit about what is an element and how does it work. So for us, elements are really just the building blocks of how we believe you can create a really, really good customized POS experience. And it works very similar to the traditional website builders that you might have been using before. So if you have been using them, you'll feel pretty quick at home in the POS Builder here. But let's just talk some of the basics, because there are some things that are a little bit different. Now that I've clicked on an element here, I can duplicate it, I can delete it, I can move up through the different layers if I want. Let's just select that again. And every element is divided into 3 main panes here. So we have the element pane, but under that there are kind of 3 important things to remember. There is what we call our editor. This is where you would change text. So if I wanted to just say basic or whatever else I want to do, I can write that right here. This editor will be, if you have a card, it's where you set what you want your card to have inside of it. And the same for buttons and whatnot. You decide how to name the buttons, what actions you want to assign to that buttons, and so forth. Next one, we have a styler here. I'm just going to write here again. This is a basic. So we have a little bit of text here, text element. But let's try and style that. So the next tab we have over here is our styler. We can go in and set the width and fit of the element. We can go in and we can change the colors of the element. So as you see here, as I drag and drop, the text changes. I can go in and align the text. If I had made a specific size box or container for it, I can change the font size here. I can, for example, if I want to make it a little more bold, I can choose the font weight. And you have also your font settings that we'll get to in just a moment. So there's a couple of other things we can go through here. We have our margins, where we can basically notch wherever you want it. And that's always in relation to the parent container. So when we add margin or any sizing or whatever, it grows and are always inheriting whatever is set up in the main container. So it won't outgrow any of these sizes. If you want it to be full width, you would have to set it up in the specific div container here. Okay, in terms of the last banner here, that's our advanced tab. It's really set as a way for you to add custom CSS. If you're comfortable with that, you can go in and add text shadows or anything like that. In this regard, any custom CSS, it's basically a direct way of tagging to this text element. Then we have our advanced text data. We'll get into that in just a minute here. As we talk a little bit dynamic text. It's a really powerful feature. And then we have our conditions. We'll have that in a much more advanced tutorial in the next video. But just know that this is here. You would be able to say, I only want to show this text string here if this specific person is logged in, or if a specific customer group or segment is in cart. Value, product is in cart, whatever you want. You can basically set the conditions here for this text string to show or not show and whatnot. Let's just go through a little bit of the dynamic data as well, as that's one of the most powerful things of the text strings here and the builder in general. Right now, it's just the basic text element here, but what we're able to do by clicking this button here is we're able to select specific data that we know. This will have any data that we have in our database, including advanced custom fields and stuff from WooCommerce integrations or any other stuff. We'll be adding more and more fields as we go, but just know that in here, if I wanted to, for example, permanently put a text string that says the username of the person who's logged in. Then I can click here. Now it shows username. And whenever I load up my app with the build, it'll show the username of whoever is logged into the register at any time. If we then go back and we say, let's just have a quick look at the advanced text data. Here we're basically able to say prepend, append, and fallback. And what that means, if I want to say something like user, and now this will say user every time, and then this will, of course, be the dynamic data string that are listening to whatever users logged in. So now it will say user and Matthias Nielsen, for example, in mine. I'm also able to add text after it, as well as fallback text. So let's say no user was logged in, for an example. You would be able to say no user, or maybe just leave it empty. And you're also able to set your amount of characters. So when you're building, you might not always know how long a name is. So if you have somebody with a really long name, you're able to cap it off at a certain amount of characters, where it won't basically do a line break or whatever else you want to look at in your design. Okay, that I think leaves most of it for the builder. You should know that you are able to specifically design stuff like unique prepend and append text and whatnot that can all get its own full design. Next off, something that might be good to know as well is we have our colors here, and there are colors that we're going to be using over and over again. So if I click the plus icon here, I'm able to say my brand blue color and click add, and now it's basically what we call a global color. So we're able to, if we were to, for example, add in a new text string here, we're able to use the global color and just click here, and then it'll inherit that global blue color. If you ever want to see the different colors, you have them here, and you're able to change all of the colors in a quick moment here. And this is specifically great when you're building themes that you want to redistribute or use for others as well, where they're able to basically change the whole build's colors based on just a few parameters here. Yeah, let's try and next just show you how you create a page, and then we'll jump into some other stuff after. Let's create a new page here. Let's, for example, call it checkout page. And now you see what happened here is we have now gotten a brand new canvas. I'm just going to load in a structure here so we can see it. And up in our page manager, we're able to go back and forth between the two pages. We can obviously rename them, delete them, and duplicate. But basically, these are the different pages that you have of your build. So you're able to fully control how you would like the different flows of POS checkouts. So for example, if you have a kiosk build, you'll have your homepage maybe with some advertisement on. Then as they click, you go into the grid page or search page or scan page, however you want it. And then maybe a payments or card screen and a thank you page. But all up to you, all fully customizable. I should note that you can also add specific pop-ups. It's done exactly in the same way. You call it product tab, for example, and product tab, and if I can hit the button right, then it comes in like a pop-up like this. And really, what it's meant for is anywhere where you want to have something overlay your existing screen, you're able to pull out these pop-ups. We also have a slide in that we'll go through in a later tutorial. But you're able to, for example, if you hit a tile, you might want to have a product with more information tab come up. You're able to do all of that. I'm going to just go back to our main page here that we were building on before. But just note that is how the main tab is coming. You can switch between all of your different pages and tabs and whatnot. And at a later stage, you can also Well, actually, you can also now design where's your home page. So right now we only have 2 pages, but we have the first one called home, so let's just leave it there. But whenever somebody clicks for the first time to open the build, they will land at whatever page you select here. Okay, let's maybe add a button just so you can see how that works. The first time you click or you drag in a button, it'll say, let's select an action to add to this button. And we don't have any actions defined yet, so let's try and create an action. And if you get nervous as I'm going too quick through this, don't worry, the next video will be a lot more in-depth dive of how to create dynamic actions, conditions, and all of those automations. But for today, we're just going to say go to checkout. We're going to make a button now that will, whenever we hit it, go to the next page. We can add automation triggers and all kind of stuff that again will be covered in the next video. When you click here to add your first step, you can choose a function, condition, go to a new page, and open pop-ups, notifications, user confirmations and authentications, and all kind of other stuff. But let's, for today, just click go to page. Then we select, we have our previous page, our station home, which is really the app home screen where you would handle all of user switching and all kind of stuff. And in this regard, we're just going to go to the checkout page, save action, and now we have assigned, whenever we click here, we have assigned an action called go to checkout. We can style it however we want. We can name it go to checkout, for example. And once we are in our app and we have published this build, whenever we click that button, it'll go to the checkout page. So let's try and first of all, let's save this build. That was it. The build is saved successfully. And now let's try and publish the build to our tablet. We can say here, you see the first version is going to be 0.1, and it's because we haven't published anything yet. So we'll just name it here, our first test build. And once I hit publish here, now it's getting published. And this means that now we're basically able to open up our tablet or device, whatever we want to use to run the POS solution. Open this build, and you'll see when we come in the basic text string user with the username, and then go to the next page. We'll cover a lot more of the native app in just one of the next coming videos. But yeah, I think that's a wrap for today's lesson on the fundamentals of the Final POS Builder. We've covered a lot of ground, from creating your first project to understanding elements and basic actions. But we are just getting started, as I mentioned. In the next video, we'll take care of building your builder to the next level. We'll explore how to use buttons to trigger actions and automations, implement conditions to control the flow of your builds, and even delve into dynamic actions and very advanced automations that I'm sure you'll be really be excited about. It's going to be a very fun one, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.